Hello, welcome our gear research channel. Today in this video, we are going to show some of the best loaf pans that are best sold and reloaded in the last couple on Amazon. If you want more information and updated pricing on the product, check the links in the description below. So let's get started with the video. Number 1, Amazon Basics Non-Stick Baking Bread Loaf Pan. The Amazon Basics Non-Stick Carbon Steel Bread Pan, which comes in a set of 2, has an unbeatable price. The dark non-stick gives the bread a nice dark crust, although it sometimes has a few hiccups releasing the bread without a struggle. Even though the pan has handles, they are tiny and difficult to grab with bulky oven mitts. All of the 2 pans have a rectangular shape and deep wall for shaping and baking generously sized loaves of bread. The pans can resist warping and heat evenly throughout baking so as to give beautifully browned results. And there are no hot spots to worry about burning baked goods. You will have many beautiful and delicious pieces of bread with these bread loaf pans. These pans also feature a non-stick coating to ensure effortless food release. You can enjoy many beautiful cakes or loaves of bread when using these 2 pans because they can provide durability and fast, even heating for uniform browning. Made of heavyweight steel, this loaf pan will heat up fast to deliver bakes with crisp edges. It has a non-stick coating that ensures that your banana bread and other loaves slip right off the pan with little to no crumbs left behind. After use, the manufacturer recommends hand washing the bread pan. Number 2, OXO Good Grips Glass Loaf Pan with Lid. The OXO Good Grips glass is no exception. This pan baked massive, evenly cooked loaves time and time again, proving that glass is king. We were impressed by its ability to cook evenly, even though it's such a large capacity dish. Besides its ability to cook evenly, the OXO Good Grips pan has 2 notable features: large carrying handles and a BPA-free plastic lid. The lid is a nice addition and sets this pan apart from the rest. That said, we found that it in fact wasn't the most useful since typically loaves are removed from the pan in which they were baked immediately upon cooling. We found that we usually stored our loaves in a different place than the pan they were baked in, making the lid feel obsolete at times. Though we had some hang-ups with the lid feature on the OXO Good Grips glass, we found that this is the most suitable pan for savory dishes like meatloaf or an egg frittata. Its large size is more suitable for a main course, plus the storage lid comes in handy for bakes that are not meant to be turned out of the baking pan. It has a cover and may be used in the oven, freezer, or tabletop, making it ideal for leftovers. The OXO pan is broader than many others on this list. The wonderful thing about glass is that you can see the edges burning and ensure they're not scorched before putting it in the oven. Number 3, USA Pan Bakeware Pullman Loaf Pan. If you've ever wondered how to make a perfect loaf of sandwich bread, baking your bread in a Pullman loaf pan is half the battle. A Pullman loaf pan is a long loaf pan with squared height and width dimensions, straight sides, and most importantly, a lid. With the lid on, the bread inside can only rise to the top of the pan, making for a more delicate crumb and tender, moist bread since less moisture is released in the baking process. To see how the pan fared, our tester used a basic white Pullman loaf recipe. The bread came out beautifully golden brown on all 4 sides and was a perfect square thanks to the secure lid. If you want a domed loaf, you can bake without the lid instead. The pan is advertised as non-stick, and while the loaf slid out without any sticking, it did need a generous amount of baking spray. There were 2 downsides with this pan. The top was difficult to take off and put back on. This was a less significant issue when the pan was empty, but it made getting the loaf out after baking pretty inconvenient. The pan also required a little extra effort when cleaning. Because it has a grooved design, crumbs occasionally stuck on the sides and bottom, even with adequate greasing. Number 4, Chicago Metallic Non-Stick 2-Piece Loaf Pan. The Chicago Metallic Non-Stick Healthy Meatloaf Set is a game changer for making meatloaf. Made of aluminized steel, it combines a pan and perforated insert that keeps the loaf elevated and allows for excess fat to drain away while baking. This makes it a breeze to remove and serve your favorite meat or meatless loaf without making a mess. Simply pull the loaf out of the pan and slide it onto a serving plate for slicing. During testing, we made a turkey meatloaf and a vanilla pound cake, partly to test the pan's versatility and partly so we could give an apples-to-apples comparison of the pan's performance. The pan got high marks across the board. The meatloaf and the pound cake cooked evenly, and the insert made it easy to remove both with no effort and minimal mess. The insert has handles, so our tester could grab them and lift it out, but when baking the cake, they had to use extra care to make sure the sides were adequately greased so the cake would release enough to remove without cracking or falling apart. Granted, this isn't what the pan is designed for, but you can use it with or without the insert if you want to switch between making meatloaf and loaf cakes. Because the insert is perforated, cleanup does require a little extra effort. A small scrubbing brush came in handy to remove stuck on meatloaf and crumbs from inside the holes, but a good soak did the job too. As for the main pan, the non-stick finish made cleanup effortless, no scouring required. Number 5 USA Pan Bakeware Aluminized Steel Loaf Pan. Finding a loaf pan that can successfully bake both loaves of bread and cakes may seem like a lofty goal, but this pan makes those dreams a reality. USA Pan's 1-pound loaf pan wins top marks as our best overall loaf pan due to its reliability and versatility. This pan is made of aluminized steel and features a corrugated surface that helps promote an even airflow when baking for an evenly baked end product. Product tester and writer Kelsey Graham enjoyed the pan's ridges, thick sides, and sturdy weight, which made it easy to move it in and out of the oven, even one-handed. Overall, both the banana bread and the vanilla pound cake she made in the pan turned out well. It was nice to compare using parchment paper with the pound cake in this pan versus not using it with the banana bread. The cake browned, but did not burn around the sides. It rose well and baked for about the estimated amount of time, she notes, adding that both loaves were easy to remove from the pan. The pan is covered with a non-stick coating that's free of PTFE, PFOA, and BPA. The company claims this coating helps make hand washing the pan and removing leftover residue a breeze, and Kelsey agrees after hand washing hers with soap and water. She did note, however, that some online reviewers noticed a pan started to rust, if not completely dried after cleaning, so it's best to place the pan back in the oven while it's cooling down to dry out completely. Kelsey tried this trick after washing the pan and is happy to report there was no rust in sight. Like, comment and subscribe my channel. Check the link in the description below. Thanks for watching.